If you could give 3 messages to all the parents in the world, what would those 3 messages be?
Okay, well, one of them would be what I said before, is that there's two aspects to loving parenting. And one is really being there with unconditional love for your children. And the second is being there with unconditional love for yourself and role modeling that personal responsibility. That to me is the most important thing, is that parents teach their children how to take responsibility for themselves in so many areas. That's what creates independent, self-sufficient children, is when they really do learn how to take responsibility for themselves in many, many ways. One of the things that I did with my kids is I gave them as much responsibility as they could handle at any given age. I think parents wait way too long to give their children responsibility. Like by the time my kids were 3, they were setting their alarms and getting themselves up. So giving children as much responsibility as they can handle is a very, very...
In India, especially the children of the elite all have maids in the house. So it's one step further, because now not only have you abdicated responsibility to the maid, but now the maid's doing everything for the kids. And kids really don't start being independent till, they're 12, 13, 14. I know of an adult at the age of 25 who'd still have his shoelaces tied. So, yeah.
And that's sad, because that's not loving to the child at all. It's debilitating to the child. So it's really, really important to give the child as much responsibility, whether it's getting themselves up, getting themselves dressed. It's like my kids knew that if they didn't brush their teeth and they got cavities, they had to pay for them, for example. So that I wasn't like on them, did you brush your teeth, did you brush your teeth? They knew if they didn't get to bed on time, they'd be tired the next day. I mean, I just didn't take that kind of responsibility for them. I taught them very early how to do that, and they all grew up being responsible kids. So that's a major part of loving parenting, is letting the child be responsible. And when people lived rurally on farms, when they didn't have maids, they learned really early. Kids started working really early, and they learned how to be independent. And this is very, very important.
So one last question is, how do you feel? What do you feel about technology? I mean, technology has come into our lives in a big way. You've got a lot of parents fearing technology, even for learning. Do you see technology as playing a positive or a challenging role going forward?
I think it's both. They've shown that the child's brain before the age of 7 does not do well with screen time. And so I think it's very, very important for parents to limit screen time. I mean, I've seen parents give their little kids phones, and I think that's horrible, to really limit screen time, at least before the age of 7. But there is a place for technology. I mean, like what we're doing right now, we wouldn't be doing without technology. And so, yeah, there's a place for it, but there also has to be limitations, because too many kids are using it as their babysitter, or they're on it nonstop, or it's the way they connect to friends, and they don't learn how to be social and things like that. I mean, I think right now with social distancing, it's helpful, but still, children need to learn to play. They need to learn to be creative. They need to learn to take care of themselves, amuse themselves. They need to learn to be alone, and not have somebody or something entertaining them all the time. I just read on a site where somebody said, well, I would rather die with my family than have them die and I'll be alone. Well, see, to me, that person has never learned to take care of themselves and to be alone. Children need to learn this. They're not going to learn it by being stuck to a screen all day.